Okay, so let me start by introducing the panelists. Okay, after I introduce you, just briefly say hi. Okay, so first of all, we've got Luis Almendarez. Is Luis here? Luis Almendarez?
I think he's connecting.
Okay, he's connecting right now. The Luis was born in Honduras and immigrated to the US when he was 10. He attended DVC for 3 years before transferring to UC Davis. Go Aggies. Currently, Luis is a business systems engineer at PG&E. Okay, next is Ralyn. Ralyn Britton is a Bay Area native. She is of Filipina and Afro-Guyanese descent, and she's a first-gen college grad from UC San Diego with a major in neurobiology and a minor in sociocultural anthropology. Ralyn or Luis, are you guys here?
I'm here. Sorry, I was having connection issues.
It's
Had
all
to
good.
call in with my phone.
So it's all good. Okay. Thanks for coming today, Luis. And okay, we'll wait. We'll see. I'll pick on Ralyn when she gets here. Mustafa Naik is from. Oh,
I'm here.
Oh, you're here?
Hey. Yeah.
Hey. Okay, so there's Ralyn. Okay, so Mustafa Naik is from Pleasant Hill, and he is a first-generation Afghan student. While in MESA, he obtained an internship with Vishay Precision Groups Engineering, and he was also the president of SHIP, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers at DVC. Mustafa, could you please say hi?
Hello.
What's up? Okay. You said you like my hair? Thank you. Okay. Muying Chen is originally from Oakland and is a first-generation college student. MESA provided her a supportive network of friends and allies which helped her transfer to Berkeley. She's now a software engineer at Microsoft. Muying, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Nice hair, by the way.
Thanks. Okay. So then we've got Mohamed Nijad. He moved to the US when he was 16 to start college at DVC, where he worked as a math, chemistry, and physics tutor at MESA. Mohamed plans to obtain a Master's of Engineering from UC Berkeley and afterwards create his own company. Luis is a cute. Okay, Mohamed, could you say hi? Okay, cool. Then we've got Luis Barrios. Luis is a Cuban, and he's first-generation college student. Luis understands the difficulties of college life, and he is grateful to support students with their journey through higher education. This year, he's working in his 4th internship, as well as volunteering and participating in clubs related to his major. Say hello, Luis.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, then next we've got Eileen Pascual Gutierrez. She was born and raised in Lima, Peru until she was 8 years old. She is the first to go to college in her family. She never gave up on her dream of becoming a doctor, and after transferring to Davis, she founded the Peruvian Student Association, and she is now graduating from Davis, and she's pursuing her dream of becoming a doctor. All right.
Hi.
Say hi, Eileen. Okie doke. Then we've got Ernst. Ernst has too many accomplishments to list. So but he's what's it called? Ernst was in Brittany's position now. He was a MESA assistant, and for a few years, and then he transferred to San Francisco State, where he studied molecular biology and cell and molecular biology, and he's gotten internships at Gladstone Institute and
UCSF.
And UCSF. And now he's pursuing a master's degree in cell and molecular biology. He wants to do biophysics. He wants to do biophysics afterwards, right?
I do. Also, you're missing that I'm currently a research assistant in Gladstone Institute, but I just signed the paper to be a research associate. So now I could do my own research in Gladstone University, Gladstone UCSF.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ernst. Okay, then, okay. I'd like, Monica, do you mind introducing yourself for just really quickly?
Yeah, sure. I'm Monica. I studied TVC for 3 years. I go to San Jose State now for computer science. What else?
And what do you also want to do? What do you want to do back to your home country?
Oh yeah, so I think of myself as an advocate for women in computer science, and I want to pursue that dream and hopefully be a connection between women in Afghanistan that are in STEM and women here, and create a bridge to get them connected.
Awesome. And then Willy, do you mind introducing yourself as well?
My name is Willy, and I go to UC San Diego. I spent 3 years at DVC, and I used to tutor at DVC, and I used to be pretty involved. I remember making like fun YouTube videos for us, and just having shenanigans in the homeroom. But I just got my bachelor's in electrical and computer engineering, so now I'm studying my master's in the same thing. Last quarter was really tough, so it kind of set back my master's 2 quarters. So I'll be done in just 1 year's time. I was gonna finish in 2 quarters. That was like pretty sick. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I had a few internships ever since I got to UCSD. There was just a lot of opportunities for my field, and I was like, oh, okay, like left and right. All right, sick. Yeah, but that's me.
Awesome. Okay, thank you guys so much for coming. So then, we'll look at the results of the poll later. But if you guys, whenever you guys get the chance, just answer those questions to that poll.
Hold on, Saud. You didn't tell us what you've done.
I've done, okay, so I've been at MESA since 2015, from 2015 to 2018, I believe, and then I transferred to UC Davis, and I'm doing math, and what else? I'm doing math at Davis, and I'm going to take the next year off to build up my finances. So that's where I'm at right now in my life.
You have forgotten that you have saved thousands of lives in
Oh yeah.
tutoring.
He still does.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So now we've got a lot to cover. So let me just ask you guys straight up. How do you define success? Does anybody want to go first?
I can go ahead.
Go ahead, Mohamed.
Hi, everyone. So personally, I think of, like, a lot of people think of success as, associated with accomplishment. Like, what have you done? Like, what is the result that you have, achieved? But personally, what I think success is based on efforts and not results. So what by that I mean, so like you can judge your success by the efforts that you have done today that will help you, accomplish the results in the future. So you can judge results, but based on the what have you done today that makes you, better than where you were yesterday.
Awesome. Does anybody have anything to add to that or counter to
do.
that? Okay, Willy, go
Counter.
ahead.
No, you want to be worse than you were yesterday. I really do resonate with the whole better than yesterday kind of motto. Always better than last time. And that's something I always strive for. But know that it doesn't have to come literally right away. I think success is highly personal. For some people, it's being able to make their parents retire or pay off their mortgage. For some other people, it's like raising a kid literally right now. And I think the only thing in common, the thing that's in common everywhere is fulfillment. If you can be content with yourself and what you've done, to be fulfilled and be happy with that, that is successful. And there's no one here to tell you that you need to do more, because whatever you've sought out to do, whatever you wanted, you've done it. And you're continuing to chase that fulfillment. And I think curiosity is it's a commitment. A lot of people don't think about curiosity as a commitment. So if you can hold on to it, stay strong, be unshakable, you succeeded in that, you succeeded in yourself, and you should feel fulfilled.
Awesome. Thank you, Willy. So does anybody want to share some things that they've been successful at? Maybe somebody who hasn't spoken yet, or, you could go ahead.
I can say something.
Go ahead, Luis.
By going off other people's definition, I don't think I was successful at school, but my own definition, I was able to graduate. Not the best GPS ever, but I was able to graduate. And to my terms, that's very successful. I was able to pass many classes, which I initially thought I wouldn't be able to, but through the support of people I met in MESA and other schools, I was able to get through and persevere, as previously mentioned by the other speakers. So it's just more about perseverance. And I think my school journey was definitely successful. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to learn a lot and got to be prepared for my field in a way.
That's awesome. Anybody else want to share a story?
I would like to share.
Yes, please.
Same as Luis, I transferred to UC Davis. My GPA isn't as great. I just graduated, and that's a success for me too. I'm the first one to go to college in my family, so that's like something that my parents are happy about it. And I also say it's perseverance, a lot of patience, and don't ever give up on your dreams. Always do your best, and there's always gonna be times that unexpected situations, family-wise, or like in my case, how do you say? In my family, something was going on, really stressful for me. So there was a quarter that I had to drop out from Davis, sorry. And then I had to readmit to Davis. But I never gave up. I was really down that quarter. I was super sad because my dream was going to Davis and, finishing up with a good GPA, good, like an amazing student. But I also gave myself credit for not giving up on my dreams, I'll say.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Eileen. It's it's important to just remember that we're not alone in our suffering, right? It's we've got a lot of problems, but we can, through perseverance, success.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
what are the determinants of like we've talked about perseverance. What are some other determinants of success? Willy mentioned curiosity. What are some other things? Or do you think that we've covered this topic enough?
I'll talk a little bit about it. I think it's not just determination. I think firstly, it's about, do you know what you really want? Because if you don't know what you want to achieve, let's say a year or 5 years from now, you're not going to know what you're going to be determined on. So figuring out what you want to achieve is really important. And then you should be determined and set goals to achieve that. And what is also really important is, I think, to not care about what other people think or how other people are doing, because I think for me, I've definitely compared myself with other people a lot on the things that I want to achieve, and eventually I realized that it's not healthy. And I realized that everybody kind of have their own different pace, and it's just not really a good use of my time if I keep comparing myself to other people. So knowing what you want, and then be determined, and then stop comparing yourself with others is something that I want to talk about.
We say know what you want, right? But that's like a very subtle question, because like for me personally, I don't mean to be a panelist here, but I liked math ever since I was a kid, and now I find myself questioning what's going to happen. When things get difficult, what are the things that what do I really want for my life? So maybe somebody could share, like, how did they figure out what they really wanted? What led you to that path?
I can answer this question. I guess when I started at DVC, and even part of the way through my time at UCSD, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. And I had an internship with Prep Medico, and something about that experience just showed me that that's not what I wanted. Like, what I wanted was just the face value, you know, the doctor, the white coat, but in actuality, like, there was some sort of like disconnect, because even though I was trying to expose myself to time in lab, like, which I ended up doing, just the lack of people and the lack of community that there was in the space that I was in, and the inability to, I guess, set boundaries between work and school and personal life, helped me realize that, like, I like, for those reasons, like, I didn't feel like I was able to, I guess, bring my best self to the table every day, just because what I thought I wanted wasn't exactly what I needed. It wasn't exactly where I needed to be. And so I felt that to remedy that, like, was just to take more classes, you know, to keep spending more time studying, and keep on, like, letting myself be absorbed by my work and the things around me, and not really defining success for myself, and kind of being a perfectionist to where that came to my detriment. And honestly, I feel like coming home and, like, being able to, like, take a step back, thankfully, after graduating, and realizing, like, you know, my experience in that lab, like, isn't the experience of what it would be like in another lab, but what if I was able to, you know, study people and communities through looking at the brain, et cetera, et cetera. So I think a big part of deciding what you really want and who you really are is taking the time to step back. And feel like that's very hard for a lot of us to do depending on where we are academically. But if you can step back, look at the bigger picture, at least try to.
Definitely. Thank you. Go ahead.
I want to piggyback off that because that's something I've been focusing on over the last year at UCSD and definitely over summer, when now I'm like thinking about like, where do I want to end up? You know, you finish your degree soon, whatever. And it's like, you have to take some time to have introspection, ask yourself these questions. But I find that when you are so uncomfortable, that's when you start to like start to change. You start to like, you know, you're just like upset with where you are. I'm like, I don't like this. There's a lot of distractions in my life and I just don't know what I want. And I'm someone who advocates for minimalism. Minimalism is about cutting down on the stuff that doesn't matter, the stuff that stops you from focusing on what really matters. And really, I've been practicing it a lot lately, and it helps you have clarity. And it makes you ask those hard questions like, do I really care about these values, or is it something that I was raised with? Am I doing this for clout? Is this what my parents want? You know, am I going for these goals because of some superficial societal norm? You know, so when you feel like really cluttered in mind, and I guess maybe if your closet's cluttered, whatever, I think your room can really have a like a interaction with your, you know, your mindset to take some time and cut out on all the noise. Focus on what matters, increase the signal to noise, and ask yourself the questions to figure out what your core values are and what cannot be shaken. And what do you want? It helps. We need to have clarity.
Awesome.
And if I can build.
Question.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Willy.
Someone asked a question. Can you give an example of that? And Dina asked a question. Can you give an example of that? I don't know if they're referring to me, what I said, or what Ralyn said. Yeah, so if you can clarify on that, we can probably get you set up. But go ahead.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Saud. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, actually,
I'm sorry.
I should have made clear there will be a time for questions like in 5 minutes. We'll take all of the questions from the audience. So just hold your questions until then. And yeah, it'll just be we'll have like 10 to 15 minutes and then we'll get back into the main discussion. Okay. Please go ahead, Luis.
I was going to say, to put it into perspective, what it is to figure out what you want, your aspirations, you know, that's a big question. There are people who graduate school and still don't know what they want with life, you know, in general. But what I think is very important for everybody who's currently at DVC is to explore as many classes as you can. Even if your focus right now is STEM, a particular major, and I know, trust me, I know it's very demanding to be able to transfer when you give yourself a timeline to finish all those classes, whether it's math, physics, chemistry. It gives very little room for you to go out and explore. But I do highly recommend, whether if it's taking an extra summer, whether it's taking an extra semester or even a year than you're anticipated, this is the perfect time to do it. To explore other options out there that grab your interest, that will help you narrow down what your goals are. And if you just focus on one thing because you want to do it in the right amount of time, don't get me wrong, there are people who are extremely passionate from very early and they know what they want, but that's not everybody. And sometimes we get caught up on that because I've been doing this so long, this is the only thing I have access to or my only goal in life. So if you can, on the summers, take general ed classes that make you uncomfortable, that make you think outside your comfort zone. And hopefully you find something that interests you. So you're not, you know, 5 years deep into your major and decide that you don't like it. You know, there are other options out there, but the best time to figure it out, it's now. And it's okay to always change your mind.
I want to piggyback on that comment. Thanks, Luis. I've been always advocating, hey, just get into an internship and just do it and see if you like it or not. If you don't like it, then don't ever do it again. I was in the internship in a Berkeley lab doing plant biology, and first week I was like, nope, I'm done. And so I know that I'm not going to be in plant biology. And then I went to a internship for immunology, and I was like, and they do use mice as their test subjects, and I was like, nope, no. And so being able to try things out and to evolve while doing stuff that you might not think that you want to do, I think that is the perfect time to do it, especially in the beginning, in DVC. If you're already at the end of your, like I was, in the end, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. It's going to be hard for me to change and say, okay, I don't want to do this. I want to do something else. So definitely try things out.
Nice. So there's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of advice there, very wise advice. So I know that there was a question from the audience. Maybe we could transition into the audience check-in portion. So let me check on so only 4 people have voted on the poll. There's a poll right now. Relaunch it. Go ahead and do that. But then also, I'd like to ask the audience to ask any questions or share their comments on what they have learned, or if they have anything they would like to add to the discussion so far. So this is your chance to speak out right now. We've got like 10, 15 minutes planned for this. Or if, Willy, are you seeing if you're seeing, anybody sees the chat for questions too.
Oh.
Okay. Any questions or comments for this right now? I'll wait like 30 seconds.
Send a MySpace invite. Go for it.
Yeah, so you guys talked about how like experience has gone, like, transitioning. I think especially who was it Davis and got readmitted? Eileen, right?
Yeah, that's me.
So I guess I kind of went through like a similar thing here at DVC, so it's a little less like impact. But what kind of strive you to like go back and like not give up? Like, what was your motivation? Because sometimes like people lack motivation, and so I want to see what you did to like get that motivation and go back and finish what you had started.
So I have always wanted to be a doctor since I was little. And then I had different experiences. I volunteered in a hospital. I was part also of prep-medical, the second cohort. It's like how do you say? It's an internship where you go and you do clinical experience, and also you get exposed to different, like they teach you about health equity and like the health disparities and all that. So I was like really like that's my dream. I knew that it was not gonna be like a straight path, because already was like I had to drop from Davis for a quarter, and I know it's gonna like not look as good in my application. But however, there's a part that you can explain there why you had to drop out of Davis, and then also because I always like my dream is always like to help people and like help my community. I come from a low income community, and I want them to have the like to have that health, equal health for them. And And also because my parents are always like have always been supportive, and they are like the people that I look to all the time because they immigrated here and they came here and they had nothing when they came here. So I always wanted to give them back what they gave me, but it's not like a responsibility that I have to give them back. Like they haven't forced me to do that. But that's something that I always look up into because I have also seen the struggles that my mom has when she goes to the doctor, and like she has had like different experience with this with like specialists like doctors. One of them was with an optometrist, and like my mom doesn't speak English at all, so I translate for her, and I realized how the like there's not as many Latino physicians. um and sometimes like this lady was like speaking like speaks English and there was no translator, so I had to advocate for her. So I wanted to advocate for my patients, and that's what like drive me to continue on my path, even though it was not going to be as easy, but I wasn't gonna give up either. And right now it's not like I graduated from Davis. Right now I need to work on my GPA, and um, so also because I was part of CHE, which is a Chicano Latino Health Education. It's a club, and I was the academic advisor there. So I will help other students with their like classwork, test banks, and like, you know, try to help them as much as I could so they can also succeed. Not only me, but also them. Because like if you just think about yourself, it's not good. Like you like where I am right now, it was it's because I got the help of many others. Like Saud was my teacher for chemistry. So it's just like that, you know. Or was it math?
It was math.
Math, right? Like see,
Everything.
I can't think right now.
English.
English. Yeah,
Philosophy.
it's just like that. You always have to keep helping others if you can.
Definitely. Wow. So
Thank you.
okay. Do we have?
That was really
May
cool.
I jump?
Yeah. Go ahead, Luis.
Yes, you know, this hasn't happened to me. Eileen was case very special. She came back to Davis, but as she said, she was driven by a bigger motivation. So it's not such a thing that you watch a motivation video on YouTube, you listen to some CDs, some radio, whatever. Because at the end of the day, that's gonna be gone. Because what's driving you is an impulse. It's not a moving force that you have within yourself. So first of all, if you try to work on the things that, or any person tries to work on the things that we talked before, like what's really your end goal, or what's your plan, what do you mean when you pronounce success, all these things, and then you really try to understand what you want, and then you lay out a plan. Trust me, sooner or later, your idea is to get there, not how you go to. And it's just gonna happen, whether you do it in Davis, DVC, whether you do it with non-education at all, depends what your goal is, right? But it's going to happen. Just patience and, as Willy said, persistence. Just go for it.
So you kind of identified where the motivation comes from. And for Eileen, it was very personal. What stuck out to me was that she said her motivation, what drives her, what gives her power to keep going, is a support system. She had like a system to look back on, and these are real people that you can, it's not an abstract idea. It's like, these are people that I'm doing it for, and they're always there. And it seems like a kind of cornerstone in her life. And once you have something that can drive you, hold on to that. That's a support system. If you don't have a system, recommend trying to figure out what drives you, whether it's community, you want to do good for others, do good for others for money, do good for others for no money, whatever. Figure out what drives you.
Definitely. Well, okay.
Actually, can I do real quick? I
Yes.
second Willy's thing. So my parents, my family, almost everyone didn't want me to go to college. Actually, they didn't support me and say, you know, I think you should go work instead of going to school. And you know what? I said, hey, I really want to go to school. I really want to get this done, you know, and do something else. And so when I was in DVC, the support system was MESA. You can ask the old Willy and everyone else here. They were basically my family, and so I looked at that as a support. You know, Matri helped me get my first internship, for example. Once I got to the internship, I made families over there in San Francisco State. I'm already in a lab where I'm helping other people do their experiments. And then in UCSF, they've been helping me bolster my application, for example, for PhD MD. So I've found my support system by outside of my family, outside of you know, what made sense to me that, you know, people should support. But I think that support system has helped me go where I'm going.
Definitely.
I would like to add to that too. My story is kind of similar to Ernst as well. I don't know if a lot of people know about me, but after I got married, just like Ernst, yeah, my family was not really supporting me to go back to school because culture-wise, you're married, you're a girl. What are you gonna do with a degree? You're just gonna stay at home and cook and clean. So what's the point of all that? Why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your brain, money, you know, the energy that you could put into other things? I did not get that support, but it's fine. So it took me 5 years to come back to school. But I remember thinking every day in those 5 years about going back to school. It never stopped. Like, you know, you have that drive, you know, you want to do something in your life. You know that you have to get somewhere. You don't know where, and that's fine. But you know, there's a drive, there's a force in you that just doesn't let you stop. And 5 years to think about it now that I think about it, it's not a it's a, for some people it's a lifetime, but it didn't go away, and I kept persisting and persisting until I did come to DVC. And so earlier we were talking about success. For me, my first step of success was my first steps in DVC, coming back to school. That meant a lot to me. I didn't know if I was going to graduate. I didn't even know if I was going to do good in my school. But coming back to school, that in itself was a huge deal in my life. Yeah, and it still keeps me going, and I want to graduate. So yeah, it's personal sometimes.
Thank you for sharing. That's amazing. Yeah, 5 years is a long time. It's a long time.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. Could be worse, of course.
100 years.
But that 5 years, it did feel like a lifetime.
In a way, 5 years also feels like a snap. I feel like I just saw you guys yesterday. I feel like we were all just tutoring each other yesterday.
You know, we're sometimes lucky for certain things, right? But luck can go either way. It can be either good or bad. And to what extent do you think that luck plays into your success or into your failures or things like that? It's like, and why is this question important? It's just to realize that there's certain things that, you know, we have control of and certain things we don't have control of. How much of it do we not have control of? It's a question.
Sounds like you've been reading Machiavelli.
Ralyn, do you want to go? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would have to say me getting into UCSD was just lucky. Like,
That's
okay,
not
make
an
sure you're shaking
example
your
of
head, but
luck.
listen. Okay,
He's right.
so
He's right.
I remember that year I had applied to like 7 schools. I think probably like 2 or 3 state schools, and then 4 or 5, I don't remember exactly, UCs, and I didn't get into any. And I already committed to San Jose State actually, and was thinking about housing and all that other stuff. And then I got on the wait list, and eventually I got into UCSD. And then I was like, well, okay, like, and that was the one school that I've been wanting to go to literally ever since I stepped into MESA, ever since I stepped into the Puma Center, period. Like, I was like, I'm gonna go there. Like, I want to go there. And so when I originally got my, what is it? The non-acceptance letter, I was heartbroken.
Oh, waitlist.
Like, yeah. I feel like my entire world just came crashing down because I didn't get into that one school. But then all of a sudden, just after an OChem exam that I completely bombed, like, I got in. and honestly, like, I feel like it was probably one of the best things to ever happen to me, even though, yes, I did have my share of struggles with imposter syndrome and not feeling as though I belonged. But to combat that, I still tried. Like, I still tried to find my community there, outside of, studying, and still tried to, like, expose myself to, yes, UCSD is socially dead.
No,
that's
you
true
see,
when you say that. Yeah.
you see socially distanced.
Yeah. And I never realized, like, how important community was to me, like how important being surrounded by like-minded, driven people was to me. Like, and it wasn't until, like, I got there was when I was like, oh my God, like, I really need to find my people. Like, I need to do this now, because if not, like, I don't want to feel alone. Last thing I wanted to do was just be in Geisel, 8th floor, all alone.
You were still on finals.
I was for finals, because that's a different type of focus. But otherwise, like, when you're alone like that, I feel like that does something to you mentally. And I think that can really, like, chip away at anything that you thought, like, being alone and feeling like you're in it by yourself. And of course, being, like, the only Black woman in sometimes a 300-person class, like, studying neurobiology, like like, so yeah, I think that having a community and kind of, I am changing my narrative to feeling as though I'm lucky to feeling as though I deserved to be there, and I deserve to be in the space that I am in now. I think that's super, super important. And I definitely did not get here overnight. And I think to some extent, yes, I did think that I was very lucky, but what I did with the resources that were available to me, like, that was on me. That wasn't luck, period. Like, yeah.
No.
Nice.
Oh, go, Luis.
Yeah.
Oh, on the other side of the spectrum, I would like to say that I do not believe in such a thing, right? In luck. I don't use it ever, so it's not part of my vocabulary, because I do believe in other things like Newton's third law, for example, cause and effects. I do believe that for every cause, there is an effect, whether we control it or not. I mean, the things, as Saud mentioned at first, we have different circles, right? The one that we control and the things that get out of our hands. But the things get out of our hands, we can make a decision about it. So how we make that decision, I do believe that plays a big role to the outcome of the situation. So those things, we either decide to worry about, to cry about it, or just saying, okay, this probably, I wasn't working hard enough, I should do something different, or something else, or just be patient and say, okay, this is not for me. So whatever it is, I think that luck, in my opinion, doesn't exist. Because if I rely back to think, okay, what could have come to me as a luck, I'd rather decide to call it as a blessing. You know, like whenever the opportunity show in front of my face, I was ready somehow, or even if I wasn't ready, I was prepared enough to go and take care of it. Now, Ricardo say on the text, what about lottery? Well, I don't play lottery, but to ask that, you know, that's a tough question that everybody always mention about luck. Most of people who wins lottery, like both of my grandfathers, they play lottery. And guys, I can tell you that they play every single day, even twice a day. You know, so it's not such a thing that you just put in one day, or even if it happens, who knows? So, you know, it's like that world that we don't know, that probably because of some actions that have been happening, if we don't know how to name them, it come up to that decision. But in my opinion, I don't base anything on luck, because it is, that's what I wanted to add. It's like, maybe a bit tough. It's the other side of the spectrum, but one more time.
Yeah. I mean, definitely what you said about, you know, the things that you can't control, there are things that happen to you, but you can control how you react, basically. That's within your power. I think, so, yeah.
I had a thing about that. I think, so like, kind of like, okay, Ralyn's on this side, but she mentioned opportunity. Just because there's opportunities there doesn't mean you can do it. It depends on how trained you are. When it presents itself, are you ready to take it? And then Luis says, there's no luck, he's over there for me. And luck doesn't care what it does, if it's good or bad. Machiavelli writes about this. He talks about virtue and fortuna. He says, fortune, like as in lady luck, whatever happens, like you get struck by lightning, doesn't make the lightning bad, you just died. It is what it is. Things that happen to you, you can't control it, like Saud said, but you can train for it. You can build fortitude. If you stress yourself today, if you work out, let's say you're taking a lot of exams, you're overloading yourself, you're building that resilience, you're building resilience. When something like that happens that just takes you out of your element, how do you react? If you've never seen it before, you're not prepared. You would be more prepared if you've seen it, if you've been prepared, if you had the right mindset. So Ralyn's, she came into UCSD, there's a lot of opportunity. She knows like, hey, I know how to seek this stuff out. Luis knows what to do when something bad happens. He says, this is not happening to me, it's just the world. It's out there. How do I view it? It's a blessing, you know.
That's awesome. Oh, you want to say something, Ralyn? Go ahead.
Yeah, and kind of going back to that, it's like all the places that I got denied from, I just wasn't like, it just wasn't for me. Like I went where I needed to go. And I don't really dwell, and it does no good to really dwell on things that happened in the past, you know, because I feel like that only takes away from the present moment and you kind of building yourself towards the future. So I think that whether you get accepted or rejected, like there's no such thing as, I guess, failure. And of course there are a lot of things that are out of our control, but just the way that we are able to move forward and kind of keep pushing towards our dreams and whatever we want. Like, I feel like even being here, like as students, I feel like, well, most of us are in the Bay Area, like that's like resiliency, like smoke is outside, still in the middle of a pandemic, but still like wanting to see each other and, you know, communicate and still have some sort of community with one another. I think that's really huge. So give you also some props for being here.
Yeah.
I think that everybody here has a point, and I think we might have emphasized luck too much, and like overlook hard work. too much as well. And I think that opportunities are always for the people that are prepared. And I think luck is just what happened when we work hard and we prepare for this opportunity enough for the luck to happen to us. And what I realize is it's not really about how lucky you are in life. It's really about like, what can you continuously do after you get lucky to maintain what you have and continue to improve yourself and get what you want. That matters more. So that's my opinion on luck. I think I definitely get lucky on a few things in life, but I don't think that would happen if I didn't work hard enough beforehand. So luck itself is not going to make you successful or happy, I think. So that's my opinion.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually add to that, because putting yourself into that space, you know, if Ralyn did not apply for UC Davis, then Ralyn would have not gotten into UC Davis. And actually, you know, just getting into that space and saying, okay, we'll create that luck that you ask for. So I think hard work and just getting into whatever it is, you know, if it's UC Berkeley and you don't think you're gonna get into UC Berkeley, just apply. Yeah, who knows? Whatever, you know, it might happen.
Wow, great advice from everybody here. Great wisdom and great points of view. I cannot add a single new thing of wisdom. So I hope you guys are absorbing this. Right now, I'm going to sort of shift the questions a little bit. Now I want to get into the nitty-gritty, dirty stuff. Not really. It's still more philosophical, but it's applied to one specific thing. So my question is, why do internships, research positions, and volunteer positions matter? We know they look good to the outside world, but what are some other good reasons for doing an internship, research position, or volunteer position? Okay, so we've talked about it a little bit, but so maybe we don't have to go super in depth, but just give a recap to that answer. What do you guys think?
One reason.
Pays the bills.
Oh yeah, 2 reasons. 1, pay the bills. And 2 is to figure out what you don't want to do.
Nice.
So that you know what you want to do.
So
yeah, it also puts you in the space that you want to be in, instead of just looking out and say, oh, I wish I was there.
Exactly. So then,
and
yeah,
I would like to add one more thing.
Go ahead.
People tend to value experience over achievement nowadays. So I would like to think that I have the job that I have because of experience that I had instead of my academic achievement.
Exactly. Okay, now getting more into the details, we're gonna go into this. So you guys applied to a bunch of internship positions. How did you decide what positions to apply for, and or what opportunities to take? Maybe you didn't apply, but an opportunity presented itself and you took it. Can you give us your stories about that?
Is anybody else going to talk now?
No, go ahead, Luis, please.
So this is my 4th internship. And guys, this is true statement. I was doing an internship for 3 years. I was going to make like $27 an hour, something like that. And I decided to take an internship this year with another company, getting a pay cut of $8 an hour, which it was a tough decision to make as a college student. But in my opinion, was an important one because I wanted to know, yes, O.C. Jones. Now I'm working for Ernst and Phelps, mentioned. So it was an important one because it's what I want to do after I graduate. And as we said, you know, to be honest, I can drop out of college right now And because everything I have learned is thanks to my previous internship. Nothing has been relevant to what I learned in college. But one more time, you don't want to close that door. Let's say that tomorrow I would like to go and work in a mechanical engineering company. I have my engineering diploma. Whether I use it or not, but it's kind of that name that sometimes, most of the time, society looks at before you get hired. They don't care about your GPA, at least in my experience. They don't care about your GPA, none of these things, but they want to see that you have a background so they can filter properly. Internships kind of like look 5-10 years forward. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to go? Then look backward right now. Where you at? And then what can you do to get there? You know, if it takes to apply to 20 internships, or just apply to 2 of them that you really know about them and you know some contact, or you can build the contacts because you know you can go there, and just go for it. Once you are in that place, trust me, you will have more sense about that company itself, the positions, the places that you can direct yourself after that point. And it just goes from there. It's little by little. We will never have the answers of everything at the point that we are right now. It's just we make the path by walking. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Mustafa, I haven't heard from you in a while. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Swell as a bell. I just wanted to
Talk about my internship experience.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like all of you guys, I was receiving the MESA emails, and then I got one from Maitri. She was relaying some information of one of the deans who had information on a company that was looking for an internship. So I just clicked the links, followed it, and applied. And then I didn't think anything of it. And eventually I got a phone call from them and they wanted to do an interview. So that was just an opportunity that I came across through MESA and thanks to Maitri. And it turned out to be a 1-year-long internship, which I gained experience in many different fields, learned a lot about engineering, and made great connections, and it looks really good on your resume. Like Luis was saying earlier, they value experience over academics nowadays because nobody wants to hire somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, or they don't. If they can, they would prefer to skip over the training phase, and it also makes you more competitive for when you graduate and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Do you think that there were any experiences you had before applying that helped you get the position, or what do you think helped you get the position, really?
I think just jumping on the opportunity when I saw it, because I responded quickly, and I know other people that they were they were urgently looking for someone to fill the position. So I was one of the first people that applied and went through the process. And afterwards, people that I think had more experience than me or more qualified than me applied, but they applied later. But it was almost too late for them. They couldn't they're already I'm already in the second phase of interview, and they're just receiving applications. So I would say just always be on the lookout. And when you see an opportunity, just go for it right away.
So the recruiting season is pretty intense for CS folks and people who are looking to work in big tech. I had a buddy who was working for Amazon, and a few cubes over, one of her friends, another intern, was interviewing for next summer at the end of their internship. During work, it was the last weekend. You don't really do much, but you do handoffs and stuff. You wrap up your internship. But this person was already on it. For some it's too intense. For others, that's how it be.
Nice.
So I'll comment on my internship. So your question was about internship experience, or what was the question exactly?
Yeah, the question is about internship experience, and how did you decide how to apply for the position, and yeah, any tips that you can give are great.
Yeah, so I got my internship at Microsoft as a software engineer after I transferred to Berkeley. So, which I consider a pretty good school for computer science. And like once you're in those like top universities, you realize that how many opportunities there are for your major, right? And like when you're at Berkeley, you're surrounded by people that work at like Google, Facebook, whatever, right? And like that's when you know that you, as a Berkeley student, are qualified to apply for these internships. And it's when I get to the internship, when I'm doing the internship work, that I realize like what you learn in school is so like insignificant compared to the problems that you actually deal with in your internship. Like in school, you're just like solving a really small problem and like pass all the test case and that's it. But like at work, you really have to create things from scratch, or fix things that are breaking for millions of users, and also deliver things that for millions of people to use. And it's those learning experience that like really elevate your skill as an engineer or whatever that you'll be working on in your field. And it's also very important to go to big companies or famous companies in your field, not just computer science, but like other industry as well. Like I think it's very important when you are fresh and you're just starting out, very important to go to those companies, because you're not just learning about how to be a good engineer at those places. Like those places are also places for you to really network and grow yourself as a professional, because you're always surrounded by some of the smartest people in the industry, and you're creating things that millions, if not billions, of people use. And I think that you really need those experience starting out for you to go anywhere or start anything later in your life. So that's my advice in my little story.
Thank you. There.
Becky is raising his hand. You're still muted.
Okay, so actually, hi guys, a long time no see, haven't seen you guys for so long. And I have a question that regarding about the internship, for example, okay, Muying, you are from Berkeley. It's a very famous school for a CS major. When you apply to Microsoft, do you see a lot of different people coming from other schools that's not as so famous? For example, maybe you have any chance to see any people that are not from the top 10 university, maybe some university you never heard before. Do they get a do you see a lot of those people in your internship, or you usually just see like a brand name university like Stanford, all of them, or all of them like from Harvard, Princeton's, Carnegie Mellon's, like those kind of questions?
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great question to ask. But I understand, like when you're studying community college, like you're so disconnected with like everything that's going on in the industry, because I think that like rarely anybody recruit from community college, and I think that that's why like it's really important to like really focus on like recruiting once you transfer. And like I do agree that going to a really good school help, because ideally those companies go to those school, like they have a career fair every semester, and they go to the career fair to literally meet the students in person and like talk to them and like collect their resumes, and even interview in the school during the career fair. So like by going to a top, like I guess like, I don't even know what number, but I guess top 20 universities, if you want to work at those big companies, I think that definitely help. But specifically for Microsoft, I know that Microsoft really, I guess, like emphasize on like diversity when they're hiring. So they also try not to just like focus on hiring people from like those 10 schools. So like I definitely know people that like are not from like Stanford, MIT, whatever. And I think they, I don't know how they get there. They either apply online or they, I guess like they go out of their way to interact with the recruiters on LinkedIn, or maybe like, I'm sure Microsoft also goes to other schools that are not like top 10, but don't quote me on that. But if you don't go to top 10, top 20 universities, and if you really want to work at those companies, you really, I guess like it's kind of unfair, but you really have to like make yourself stand out by, I guess, interacting with people on LinkedIn, knowing people that work at the company that can maybe help you or refer you for a position, and also if they come to your school, you literally have to be there the first person and like try to impress the recruiter or the presenter from the company. And I think that that's something that you really have to do if you really want those opportunities. I'm not sure if that answered your question.
Yeah, it sounds like it does answer the question. So basically, to reiterate, no, you don't necessarily need to be from a top 10 university. You've had clients or peers who are at your at Microsoft who didn't come from a top 10 university. And also,
it saturates really quickly. Like how much of a boost you can get, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, just from my experience, it's like when you go to a 4-year college, every 4-year college will have a career fair. And so it's like all of the big companies are coming to those career fairs, even at Davis, you know? It's like not top. I mean, I don't know what the ranking is. I don't know what the ranking of Davis is, but it's like, it doesn't get the same prestige as a lot of the other UCs, but you shouldn't, but definitely also think about where, like proximity to your work. Sorry, I shouldn't be answering this.
If you go to UW, you can expect to get a hook into Amazon or Microsoft. You're right, Saud.
Yeah.
Like those career fairs, they come to pick you up. They come to literally pick up people. And I've seen people get interviewed on the spot. I've been in interviews on the spot and they're like, okay, so when can we put you in to talk with the team? And it's just like, holy crap. What you can bet on is every university has money and they have campus engagement and there are employees there. That's their livelihood to do industry engagement. Whether they do a good job of that, you know, I'm sure some universities are lacking there, but you can bet that there are some people whose livelihood is to bring you industry engagement. And without that, do I have a pink blanket? Hell yeah, I do. Are you stalking my room? Sorry, I got derailed off that. But I had a hot take similar to so I'm trying to point, but they're not going to be the same on everyone's screen. But I have a hot take regarding your internship. Luis took an internship that's $8 down. That's a big hit. Yes. Muying's saying going to a big company. And I think going to big company is good, but a lot of companies give you throwaway projects. You are an experiment, you're just gonna work on something that may or may not be used. Sometimes they're just like, okay, we just wanna test you out and see if you want to return. It's just here to keep you, give you work, and that way your foot is in the door to work for us. Do a good job. We might not use what you do. It might not be applicable. I had heard from peers who worked at big tech company I will not name, because I don't, like some people here probably work for them, but they essentially got that. They got a throwaway project. It was not something that people cared much about, but what it did was it set them up to go full-time. It's all about going full-time. People don't spend intern money on you to go and just be an intern and never come back. They want you to come back. They're trying to convert you. It costs way too much. Yeah.
Thank you for your response. definitely a lot of wisdom on the industry side, but then there's also this whole side of going to a 4-year college where there's research, right? If you want
Oh,
to go into
yes,
academia
definitely.
and everything like that.
Good
Does
idea.
somebody
Yeah,
want to?
there.
Yeah, go ahead, Ernst.
Okay, so as you guys know, I'm going to SF State, and I also am going to master's in SF State, and that is not known as a research school. However, you know, I'm training people from UC Berkeley. I'm training people from Stanford. I'm training people that is mentioned. Sure, I will. I'm training people that has gone to really top 10 schools, and yet, you know, I am doing my own project. I have my own opportunities to do so. So it's not just, okay, you're in the top 10 school and then we expect you to do things, you know. We, being from SF State, yeah, it's harder to get into those spaces, but it's not impossible. It's probably more possible than being so crowded in, you know, like, for example, UC Berkeley, there's a lot of students that want to do research there. Here in SF State, I'm able to do, okay, I could work with people in SF State, but wait, there's people in Stanford that I'm talking to that I could work with. Oh wait, there is people that is in UCSF that I'm working with, that I'm talking to, that I'm doing collaboration. Oh wait, I could also go to UC Berkeley and say, hey, you know, let's work together. I'm working with, I forgot her name, but she is a Nobel Prize, and she has, you know,
Jennifer Doudna.
Yes.
Yeah.
I shook her hand. She's really tall too, which is cool. And you know, you don't
Ernst,
see that.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
So it's like, what is the number one skill that you would say that, or skill or practice that you have to have in order to get these opportunities? What do you think?
I think two things: critical thinking, because if, for example, as trying to be a researcher, I mess up on things, but figuring out, okay, how to fix those. Basically, you know, that is number one. Number two is putting yourself out there. Like, if I didn't go to, for example, do my internship in Gladstone, then I wouldn't know other people that's doing an internship for UCSF, and then I wouldn't know other people that's hiring in UCSF for me to work in Gladstone. So it's putting yourself out there, and you know, not worrying about, okay, am I gonna be in? Am I not gonna be in? I remember one of my summer, I applied to 20 internships, and I only got one, and that's like 5%, you know, acceptance rates for me. But I still got in. You know, I still did a lot of networking, trying to get to it. So yeah, to me, I might be biased, but the school doesn't matter. It matters on what you do with the degree.
Well said. Well said. I'd like Yahya wanted to ask a question. Go ahead and ask the question. He wanted to ask a question for Willy, Muying, and Monica.
Oh, may I say it?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, of course, for being here. But yeah, my question's basically for Monica, Willy, and Muying, but I'm sure the rest of you can also have some input because it is valuable. But my question was during your time at DVC, what did you guys focus on, particularly in the field of computer science, in order to take that first step to your first internship? Was it, you know, establishing a presence on GitHub, making a personal project? What skills did you focus on? Was it learning Python because DVC teaches C++, et cetera, et cetera? Or was it contributing to open source projects? Like, I've heard so much, but at the same time, I just need like a nudge in the right direction, please.
For sure. I'm EE, but I actually did a lot of programming, and that helped me at my first internship. Don't worry about the languages. You pick languages up like that. You need the fundamentals. You need ability to, you know, if it's syntax is like, it's just the rules of the game of we see programming as a tool, like even just whatever programming language, it's just a tool to get the job done. Is it SQL, is it PHP, is it Python, or whatever you want? Focus on the fundamentals because they are the same everywhere. And then whatever tool you have, just look at your question or your problem, go for it. Open source project, if you're asking the question of, do I need to learn more and more languages? The answer is no, not,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's up there, the top 3, but for sure, wherever it is, learning the fundamentals is on top. It's above your quantity. It's about the quality.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I apologize if I came off as what I said came off as like the whole brute force.
No, you're good.
approach.
You're good.
I'm like, oh, I want to learn more languages, but like, I understand, of course, like you need to understand, of course, your algorithms, etc., in detail, and then you can pick up languages like that. It's just different words. But like, my question was, what initiatives did you take while you were in my position? For example, if it's your start of your second year and you're in your fall semester, do you just focus on classes, or what did you do on the side? Like, for example,
projects.
I know I'm talking, but I bought like, because there was a sale on Udemy, and I just bought a bunch of like computer science curriculum that I saw was in demand. But at the same time, like, what am I supposed to do? Do I sit here and focus on class? Do I do those Udemy courses? Like, I have no idea what to do. I understand. I really appreciate you saying fundamentals, but at the same time, I guess you could see how that might not be the answer I was looking
totally
for.
understand.
Let's see what Muying wants to say.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Well, I don't think I've done a lot of things at DVC, but I've done some things after I transferred.
Damn.
But well, I mean, when you're at DVC, like I think I was just very focused on transferring first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I definitely, because I was also working, I think like two jobs.
Right.
And also like trying to get that 4.0 GPA, obviously.
Right. Congratulations. Yeah.
No, I didn't get a 4.0.
Oh.
Very elusive.
So, well, after I transferred, I've definitely focused on like personal projects, like what you mentioned, like open source, whatever, right? And like those, if you don't have previous like internship experience, like doing your own like project, that shows the recruiter or like employer your interest in the subject and your initiative to like start something from scratch. And like I think that like people nowadays like really want people that can just like start something on their own, that are driven and like curious in what they do. So if you don't have like internship right now, you can definitely like find a problem that you want to solve and then just go solve it. And
so it's about I'm sorry for cutting off. So it's about demonstrating interest, and then in that case, do you think having the goal of having some CS internship the summer before I transfer, for example, do you think that's a bad goal to have, or like do I just focus on my grades for now, like and transfer?
I think after you like fill out your application to transfer, I don't think there's anything for you to worry about. So that should be the time for you to consider to look for an internship. And I think that like having more internship experience won't hurt, I think. So like I said, like if you can't find internship, like definitely like work on something on your own or with other people. And like you mentioned, you bought like some Udemy courses or some other like platform. What I want to suggest is like, I guess like it's not really about like what you learn, because like everybody can say that they know Python, C++, Java, whatever, but like what are you going to do with it? It's what people want to know. So that's my suggestion for you. I'm not sure if that answered your question.
No,
so, and also, yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, and also like other than like your initiative to start something, and I think that I also want to mention before as well, it's not just like your technical skills. That's very important, I think, right? As an engineer, you definitely need to know how to be technical for people to pay you to do what you do. But it's also about how you present yourself. Like, are you someone that people can't communicate with? Are you someone that can't even explain what you're thinking? Like, if you can't even do that, then I don't think people want to hire you, because like at the end of the day, when you are hired at a company, you're working on something with other people, your teammates, your manager, your skip manager, whatever, right? If you can't communicate, if you can't work with people, then yeah, soft skills, exactly. Then I don't think people would want to, like, I mean, no matter how good of a CS god you are, I'm not sure if people are willing to work with you if you
No one
don't.
wants to work with a jerk.
Yeah, like people would not like you. Like you can get hired, but people wouldn't want to be working with you. And you know, what's the point?
I have some applicable
Wait,
to write.
Actually, we've
I
got
have
more
something that's-
questions. We've got, sorry, Willy. I hate to cut you off. We
That's
took
okay,
a
go
bit of
for
time
it.
on this question. But so Kabir wanted to ask a question.
Hi, how's it going? Thank you guys so much for doing this. I wanted to ask you guys, it's more of a general question, but I think those three, because I'm a CS major as well, they could speak on it. So what I wanted to ask was, for like these internships, for these research positions, as like you're a student, how did you like find mentors to help you through this? Because personally, like going into DVC, I didn't know much, but when I went to MESA, like shout out to Major, she was like a mentor for me, and I think for a lot of us here, as a way to grow and as a way to get comfortable at DVC. So I want to like know how do you reach out to people and like ask for help in a sense, and ask for them to like, you know, guide you in the position that you're in.
Can I ask this question? Can I answer this question real quick? I know you guys are in CS major. What you could do, what I did, is that I actually reached out to computer science or bioinformatics lab that specializes in whatever I want to do. I am by training, I'm cell molecular, but I have no idea how to do coding. But this group has taken me in, and now we're coding and doing big things that we, you know, trying to figure out protein-protein interactions, viral versus host, and that's something that maybe in general will help other people too, not just CS majors. So that's what I would do. I would go to a list page of universities that you think that you're going to be going in, and then finding a specific one and say, hey, professor, my name is blah, blah, or Kabir Khan. I am trying to get into what school, and then I think, read some papers that they've done and say, I think your work in blah, blah, blah is amazing, and I want to learn from you. And that's how I got into one of the computer science or bioinformatics lab that I'm in right now. I'm in 2 other labs, so it's a little overwhelming, but I think it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Monica, did you want to add something?
Actually, yes. So what I wanted to ask them, the people, CS majors that ask questions about how to get an internship, I was going to ask, so while you are at DVC, in your time at your DVC, ask yourself this question: what is your goal currently? Is it to get to a higher ranked school like UC Berkeley, or is it about getting a high paid internship, or what is it that you want to do currently? So based on that, if it's just about transferring to a good school that you think they value a good GPA, then focus on your school, focus on your grades. Especially Yahya, for you, the data structures class that they teach in DVC, I would say focus on that because even after transferring, there is an advanced data structures class that you need to take, and that is much tougher. So I made a mistake back in DVC where I took the data structures class online, and even though like I was on top of stuff, I thought I learned everything. Well, I got an A in the class, but coming to SGSU after that and taking my advanced data structures class, I realized I made a mistake and I should not have taken that as in online. So that matters a lot, especially in coding interviews. They ask a lot of questions about data structures. So not just, it doesn't just look good in your transcript, but it also long-term wise, it will help you get an internship. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Monica. There's so it's 4 o'clock right now, but there are a couple of questions. So we'll do these 2 more questions, and then we'll go with and then we'll just conclude. So and if you guys want to stay longer, then we can stay longer. I'm the host right now, so if anybody wants to leave, then they can leave. I can stay until 4:30. But okay, Yahui, you had a question, so please go ahead, ask your question.
Oh, I was asking that question on the chat already.
Oh, you already okay, that's great. Did you get your question answered?
Yes, sort of, but actually also, oh yeah, maybe some people didn't see the chat, but like my question actually is like compare with CSU and UC, what kind of school, like what type of school system can spend more money on the student, like on the student's perspective. And well, Willy and other people also helping me to see how can I research that problem. And I think I just need to do.
Well, schools can have the worst program for you.
So
yeah, it depends on what you're looking for.
Maybe actually I have a question for Mustafa. I think Mustafa can help me with that one. As I know, Mustafa, that you went to CSU Sacramento and then transferred to UC Riverside as mechanical engineer. So, well, okay. So this question is really, it's for me to decide on what school I should tag to, okay? So I currently have really low GPA. I will have to admit that, and because that's the mistake I made really long time ago. And I try my best, and I go for straight A since I come back to school, and currently made myself back to 3.1, but still really low is not enough to go to a lot of UCs. So there's like a UC Riverside is one of the top UC I would plan to tag to as for engineering department. I want to hear your perspective. How's the UC Riverside engineering department looks like? It's like what you think and what kind of experience you have in UC Riverside.
Yeah, I could tell you about that. So I went to Sac State for 1 semester. One of the main differences is semester versus quarter. Sac State was, in my opinion, or when I was transferring that time, it was really overcrowded. Like they accepted more students than they had space for. So I couldn't get into any of my classes. So what I ended up doing is taking like 1 class there, a class at Los Madonnas College, and then transferring in the middle of the year during winter quarter to UC Riverside. And then I found that like Riverside had like, well, I came in the middle of the year, so it was less like competitive, or there was more room. So I got all the classes I needed. And like the quarter system was a challenge for me, like going from semester to quarter. That was like one of the biggest challenges for me. Super fast paced. After the initial like period, like I'm sure like everyone like has their difficulties when they transfer, but like I found a lot of like opportunities here. And like even the friends I had that go to Sac State right now, they're finding like great opportunities there too. Like one of the main differences is like they're doing more practical while I'm doing more like theoretical in class. Like they have more labs while we have more like theory based like in class like problems that we do. So it's like what do you, it depends on like what are your needs, what you're trying to find. I think both have amazing opportunities. You'll have like it just depends on what you want from the school that you're trying to go to.
Awesome. Thank you for your answer, Mustafa. So yeah, the time right now is 4:04 p.m. We have a few panelists who are willing to stay longer, but until 4:30 p.m. But please, if you have to go, feel free to go. You too, Matri, you know, I know you work hard. There's another question from Dimitri.
You guys can hear me? Hello?
Go ahead, Dimitri.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Perfect. So my question is with regards to internships, as with a lot of others here, and specifically about what's maybe the best way of getting an internship, and that's with regards to should I use an online portal? Should I seek out actual, let's say, because I'm trying to get a position as a UX designer, should I go on LinkedIn, find UX designers, ask them questions, and even lead on to, you know, asking them, is there any internships available? Or even just go straight to recruiting fairs. From your guys' experience, what would be the most effective way of doing that? What has the most results?
So let me get this one.
Okay, go ahead, Ernst.
So I don't know if you guys.
Ernst.
Oh, go ahead.
Is there anybody else who wants to get this one? Because Ernst has answered a bunch of questions. If not, then please go ahead, Ernst.
Well, let me do this quick. I don't know if you guys remember Miguel Hernandez.
Yes.
He's a guy in MESA. He got an internship in Gladstone, but guess who got him in? You know, I trying to help other people and say, hey, you know, this guy is really good. So knowing people inside the people who's doing the internships actually will help you a lot. I mean, you could put your application in and then, you know, hope for the best, but knowing someone there is definitely beneficial.
Also, I could add real quick to it.
Please go ahead.
In applying to internships, I would just like say keep your minds open, because when I applied to one that I saw, it wasn't even in my field. It was EHS, which is more like biology, but I'm mechanical engineering. But like we were off the topic we were like talking about earlier, creating your own luck. Like there was an engineering department where I worked, and after a few months of working there, I managed to like finagle my way into that department, and then that became my main part of my internship. So just like I would just say apply everywhere and just try your best with what you have.
Okay.
So you said you wanted to do UX design?
Yes.
Are you already accepted to a school, or are you planning to transfer to a specific school?
I'm applying to transfer to Berkeley. However, I'm currently a concurrent enrollment student at Berkeley through the Air Force ROTC program that allows me to take decals, which I plan to enroll in this semester, the web development one and the design and innovation one. And I'm also a part of VR at Berkeley, so I'm a little bit integrated. I also kind of snuck into the Skydeck intern fair, and I snagged 2 internships. So I think I'm sort of putting together a good enough portfolio. I feel confident in my design skills. However, what I'm afraid of is just applying to a web portal with 500 different applicants and just being forgotten. I don't know maybe what the best strategy is to get my application, my portfolio at the front of everybody.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure about like UX design, but like it sounds like you're at a good place with enough resources. What I would suggest you to do is maybe find a design student club at Berkeley to join, or even just talk to the people there. And I bet like at least one of them in the club like must have done like a UX internship at like some like company before, and like you would want to find those people and like ask them how they get their internship, and like see if they're willing to give you a referral, or ask like the professors at Skydeck to see if they know some sort of connection. Like I think I agree with you, like directly applying to the website like doesn't really help that much. Like you, especially for you, I feel like you have a you have a solid portfolio and you have like the skills to be accepted to those positions. So I would suggest you to like talk to the people at Berkeley in your network, or even just stalk the UX design intern on LinkedIn and then just like ask them how they got their internship. I would start from there.
Thank you. Yeah, that answers my question. And this is just a quick one. Have you taken decals and have you found them to be useful with regards to actually learning more practical skills that you would use in your job?
I think decals mostly. Oh,
sorry. One quick thing. Yeah. Right after this answer, Matri wanted to say something, so go ahead.
Okay. I think decal is mostly for interest and maybe like have a side project. So unless that side project can be applicable to applying for a job, like I wouldn't want to materialize everything that I do at Berkeley because I feel like decal is mostly for fun and like for interest, and like you don't want to put too much stress into the decal. I don't know, that's just me. And like if you want to like build some sort of portfolio or like project, you want to like join a student club to do that, right? That's my suggestion.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Matri, go ahead.
So I'm just so happy to see all of you and wanted to thank you personally. And hearing your words of wisdom and to see how each one of you have grown, not just as a STEM student, but just as an individual. It just fills my heart with so much joy. And each one of you can become, I don't know if you'll pursue, but can become such a great teacher. That's what I was thinking. So thank you. And so much more you have done here than you have shared. I just wanted to say that all of you in your own special way. So keep it up, guys.
Quick, I would like to say before Matri's gone, like, guys, this wouldn't be possible without Matri. You know, like all of us, one way or the other, we transfer to schools, we have internships, we have the connection within each other. Like many of these chats are one of my best friends. And let me tell you, this wouldn't happen without MESA, that community. The more you put in, the more you take out. And Matri has been like a mom for us, always, you know, like we are in the middle of a pandemic, like, you know, wildfires in California, and she tried to work hard to make this happen. And thanks to Saud and Brittany as well. But Matri, our love to you. You really have done a great thing for us.
Thank you. And Luis, again, you know, it's the community we all make together, actually. This community has grown because of student coming to give back to the community. And it's such a rich community that, you know, it's helping us stay sane at this time, I would say. Gracias.
So much. Yeah, you know, I just want to conclude this, I just have a question. I want everybody to answer this question. I could go in order if you like. So because I feel like it ties in with this. Now, I know you could probably go on for hours on this single question, but I want you to just try to say it in like a minute or less than a minute. How did MESA help you become who you are today? And do you have any wisdom you'd like to share with us? Let's start with let's start with Luis Almendarez.
Oh man.
Repeat your question, sorry.
The question was, how did MESA help you become who you are today? And do you have any wisdom you'd like to share with us?
All right, so I can start on that. You know how there's the saying that when you surround yourself by great people, you become great? That was the case for me joining MESA. So I think I was able to succeed in my classes, and not only that, within relationships I built in MESA, because I was around very intelligent and very motivated people. So that motivated me to get on their level. And it pushed me and constantly pushed me to become better. And overall, even after transferring to Davis, even though there's so many communities out there, so many resources, I don't think I was able to find one as good as MESA. So it built the foundation, and it continued to give me so much more opportunities, and it just helped me become the best person I could be. And definitely the connections you build here, it's amazing. Even though I'm not the best person at keeping up with everybody, but I know that the people here are like family to me. Like everyone in this panel, like if they ever need help and reach out, without a doubt, I will vouch for them. I would help them. And it's because they helped me through my academic career. And, it just creates a big family. And this family goes past college. It goes past everything. And I would just suggest keeping that connection and make sure to just, take advantage of what you have, the opportunity here.
Thank you, Luis. I appreciate your words. We appreciate your words. Let's go next with Willy. Willy, how did MESA help you become who you are today, and do you have any wisdom you'd like to share with us?
For someone who didn't really have friend groups in high school and pretty much had no motivation, I almost didn't finish high school. I mean, I would have finished, I just probably wouldn't have passed. I failed a lot of classes in high school, and I found MESA, and like Luis said, it kind of made me want to put my best self out there, made me want to do my best. But it just shows you the power of community, and it's something that's natural. You don't have to force something that's not there, it doesn't want to happen. Community is not built in a moment. I mean, you come here and everyone's so supportive and is whatever, but you want to absorb that and try to make that, genuine through you. Like, don't try to force it if it's not there, just take it at your own pace. And just know these are good people and they're here with good intention. Yeah. And
thank you, Willy.
That'd be probably it. Yeah, community's out there and it's strong.
Eileen, do you want to go? Or if not, then we can go to Monica.
Eileen, your microphone.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I didn't find a big community in Davis. I would say like MESA. MESA helped me a lot, especially Matri. I'm so thankful for her because otherwise I wouldn't be able to be where I am right now. And knowing that where I want to go. Yeah, and also like most of here, like we know each other and we have become family. Like I feel like we follow each other on Instagram and stuff, and we kind of know what we're doing, and we keep like when sometimes someone posts about like studying super late, I guess like we just text each other and be like, oh, you go girl, or you go, and stuff like that, and don't ever give up and keep it up and stuff like that. So we help each other, we support each other. So I think you wouldn't find anywhere a community like MESA. So just keep the connections.
Awesome. Good advice. Ralyn, how did MESA help you become who you are today? Do you have any wisdom you'd like to share with us?
Whew, okay, I just was trying to figure out how to put that into 1 minute. But I think that without MESA, honestly, I would have never taken a chance on myself. I never would have even thought that transferring was like I could actually transfer like in the timeline that I set. Like just people like Matri and Clarice who like reminded me that like I was deserving and worthy of that space even before like I even had those like within myself. And I honestly, like, I feel like, yeah, like Willy, like I haven't been able to find that anywhere else. But yeah, just like the type of like encouragement and support that was with me for all those 3 years, like even going to conferences and like networking, like that's a skill that I never even realized like I needed to have, but it's just something that I did. And now I'm trying to network my way into figuring out what to do for the rest of my academic journey. But yeah, I think that like it was definitely like the first steps, and like all it took was me like deciding to walk through those doors, and like, and it just kind of happened. And yeah, and I think that with all of y'all, I'd say don't be afraid to take a chance on yourself. Like even even if you think you don't meet those qualifications for that internship or yada yada, like if you want it, go get it. Like it's yours. And speaking of getting things, Willy, do you remember when we picked up this chair in San Diego? Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were pointing at that plan. I'm like, no, that
No,
was your
like-
other Asian friend.
No.
But that chair, yeah, that barely fit in your car.
Yeah.
And then we got coffee after.
Yeah. So
Amazing. Make
I ran
friendships
into
like
Ralyn
Willy
on
and
campus.
Ralyn.
Is that how that happened? I
Huh?
don't know. How we met up on campus. I was just like, you know, like, holy crap, you're here.
yeah, I didn't know, but it was just kind of like, all right.
Definitely make friendships that will last you for a lifetime.
Friends who
So
chair together last forever.
we've got like 6 other people who need to cry their souls out to us all.
Go.
Monica, please go.
No. Oh gosh, yeah, I have so much to say about Maitri, Clarice, and in general MESA, but I'm not gonna say all of that. What I want to say is that yeah, it changed me in a lot of ways. It helped me build my character, my personality, my GPA, especially because of Saud and Willy. Willy was my first tutor in CS. But all in all, like I loved coming there, the energy, like the grinding mode, that I needed it every time I would come and see like people writing on whiteboards. That I just loved that, and I felt like even if they were different subjects and we weren't working together, I don't know, just seeing them work just made me put in that mood too. A word of advice that I want to give to people currently in MESA. I know it's an awesome place, but if it feels like it's a little bit overwhelming, it's okay. Like I know that seeing everyone else's achievements, everyone else's high GPAs and everything can get overwhelming at one point, because it's a bumpy road. It's a bumpy road for everyone. But know that it's not gonna stay like that. It will change, and you don't have to look at everyone else's achievements and stuff. Just focus on yourself and know that you are working towards your own goal, which is different than someone else's, and it's fine. There comes a time where like you might fail a class, which I did. It was completely fine. Because you move on and you get a high GPA and then you get an internship, and all of that will not matter. But try to take the positive stuff and the positive energy out of that big room, and don't let it get any negative at all, and because that's not what MESA is about.
Amazing. Thank you. Muying, please go if you can.
Thanks. I'm about to drop, but I'll keep this in like pretty short. But for me, definitely echo with the community perspective of what people have already said. But I think what's more important, or what's above community, is like a group of people that I relate. Like I'm sure we all relate to each other in some way, whatever that is for you. And I think that's the reason why I keep coming back. to these events and like helping out people. It's not just that I was part of this community. I mean, I was part of many communities as well, but like I think it's because I relate to this mission. I relate to the people here that I want to come back and contribute. So the having a group of people that I can relate to and support me or I support is very important, and it's something that I haven't really figured out until I leave this community temporarily. Also, like after I transferred to Berkeley, I think I find it a lot more difficult for me to relate with other people. And that's when I realized like you don't always remember the people that you have fun together, but you would always remember the people that you struggle with. So that's one of the lessons I learned when I was at MESA. And I hope that like this is something that you also keep in mind. Is like you should really cherish the people that really help you when you're struggling, not just the people that like be there when you're already successful. So that's my closing thoughts.
Thank you so much. Mohamed, sorry we didn't get to hear more from you today, but
yeah. Hi. So I would say for me, the first thing is the encouragement and motivation I get from all the MESA members. Especially, I would say my first freshman year, I was not thinking that I could get internship for my first summer, but with all the motivation I got from other people, like getting their internships, getting their offers and stuff, that motivated me to actually apply, and ended up getting internship for my first summer. At the same time, of course, the feeling of like community and the feeling of belonging to a community, that was really valuable. Especially, it was my first year in the United States, and I didn't have a lot of friends. So part of being at MESA, I had made a lot of friendship that still persist till today. So I'm really grateful for being part of MESA.
Thank you so much, Mohamed. Mustafa.
MESA, you meet like a lot of great people like Saud and Willy. They had so much patience with me, and Muying too. She was one of my first tutors. If you were one of those guys in MESA, like I would have just dropped out Calc 1. Like the patience they had with me, like that's what got me this far. So it's like all about the people you meet and how they help you. And yeah, so MESA's is awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you so much, Mustafa. Ernst.
MESA was a far starter, man. It was the first place I was like throwing my research ideas at, and you know what? Some of them was not a good idea, but some of them was, I got feedback, and so that further along what I wanted to do. And now I'm working with COVID-19. I'm working with KSHV. I'm working with a lot of viruses where if I didn't have MESA, be like, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. So I totally, I agree with everyone with the community-wise. I remember having late night, not fighting, but more like argument with Willy about chemistry and cause, trying to tell us, we're both wrong. And so it was something that I personally cannot replicate in other ways. So I appreciate Maitri and MESA program.
Thank you so much, Ernst. And finally, Luis Barrios.
I think I already answered this question, but many memories. All of you, most of you, I know very deep, and I know most of you I'm gonna keep my friendship for the rest of probably my lifetime. And MESA was great, as I said earlier. From my internship, my first internship, people say, "Oh no, don't apply. You are, first year. You don't even have Calc 1." I didn't pay attention to that, so I went because of a career fair. Then I'm here.
and my school choice, everything. When I was like going through personal problems, even though people didn't knew about it, just showing up in mess and then maybe give me a hug and say, "Hey, how you doing? Good to see you." That's it. That makes the environment, the community, because at the end of the day, despite what the school we want to transfer, what are our majors, we have something in common, which is the diversity and the things that took us to that place to help others with what we already know. And it was just great. I will say that without MESA, my experience wouldn't be possible as DVC went or as my life is right now. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Matri. Did you want to say something?
Well, I remember I had Luis was in one of his usual quiet rooms, across from the MESA common room, and I had gone there. I used to always hobnob. You guys know that, right? Usually harassing you guys for something. And then we just exchanged a few sentences, and I told Luis Barrios that you're always smiling, and that's so amazing just to see someone always smiling. And then Luis quietly said something I'll never forget. He said, I have to go through a lot of pain to be where I am now. And it just unfolded a totally different perspective of how wonderful our students are, what they have gone through, but still bringing the very best of them. So, yeah.
Okay, you guys. Well, that's the end of the event. It's now 4:31. We went 30 minutes over.
We forgot. How about you? What is your most memorable?
Exactly. Why do you keep forgetting yourself?
Oh my god.
40 characters or less.
That's why I wanted to. That's why I made this idea, so I could be the moderator and just tell you guys to do all of these things. No, okay, I'll do mine. So the question is, how did MESA help you become who you are today? Do you have any wisdom you'd like to share with us? Well, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Nothing. But I will just repeat. It's the community and the friends, all of you have made an impact on me, and your stories and your lives, they are an inspiration to me. And that's why I came in every day to go and teach you guys math. I also love math. That's another reason why I did it. But I wouldn't love teaching math to a bunch of, not so great people. You guys made it a joy, even though I was stressed out. I had stuff going on in my life. But I love you guys. Thanks for coming today.
What did you first think about MESA when you came, and how did you find MESA, and why did you stay?
Willy was the one who brought me into MESA. We barely even knew each other, but it was like...
That's not true. We went to the same high school.
Yeah, but I didn't know you in high school at all. Like, you were just like...
You were so different than what I thought you were.
Oh my god.
So...
Is that friendship denial?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not. Okay, but we should definitely all get on a call together again sometime soon. And thank you so much to Matri and to Brittany for helping me coordinate this event, and thank you to the panelists once again. I'm gonna have to say, I need to go and write in my diary right now because for this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing,
Also,
everybody.
for those people who are in MESA, you should contact one of us and be able to network with all of us, because we are technically also your what do you call this? Your link to the next level. You know, we've gone through 2-year, 4-year college. Now some of us are graduated and going to industry. So definitely contact us.
We'll definitely get a list of contacts to Maitri, and then she can send it out to all of you guys. Anybody who wants it. Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Yahui and Yahya, you both were asking me questions. If I didn't get to you or if it wasn't detailed enough, sorry for the time being. That's all I could give. But feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, direct message me or whatever, and hopefully I can get your questions answered.
Monica, don't worry, I will contact you via Tejas.
Right, you guys. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, guys. Nice to see you all.